Hi everybody, Jackie here with Brian from Weber Automotive. How are you doing today?
Good, Jackie. How are you?
I'm doing good. So today we are talking about servicing brake caliper. Now this is a part of the brake system, right?
Yeah,
And it can be expensive to replace.
absolutely.
So you guys recommend servicing it over at Weber.
Yeah. What's a really good idea is brake caliper is a critical component of the brake system. That's what squeezes the brake pads out of the rotor and makes the vehicle slow down and stop. And the biggest enemy of brake calipers is corrosion. And around here, because we're a salt state, and they put salt down in the wintertime, the problem is amplified.
Okay.
So when we talk about brake servicing or caliper servicing, what we talk about is when the time for brake service happens, pads and rotors, which is typical, everybody pretty much gets that. What we do is service the calipers at the same time. We spend a little bit of extra time, clean the rust and corrosion off, lubricate with the proper grease and lubricants, the caliper slides where they have to move freely. And also highly recommend replacing the fluid because brake fluid's hydroscopic, it absorbs water, they corrode on the inside as well as on the outside. So when you do those things, clean and lubricate on the outside, change the fluid, the calipers last a lot longer, so you don't have to replace them every time, and the calipers and the brakes will last and work longer.
And so you mentioned that you have to do certain kind of lubricants. Are there different types for different types of cars so that you guys have that knowledge and you're able to do that at your shop?
Not necessarily, but there are different lubricants for, there's different greases for different type of applications. So brake caliper grease, synthetic brake caliper grease, for example, will work on everything. But will wheel bearing grease, which most shops have, do the same job as the synthetic brake caliper grease? No. So you got to spend the money, and it's way more expensive, but it works so much better.
And much less expensive, I assume, than replacing a brake caliper.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so being in North Olmsted, being in Ohio, there's a lot of salt on the ground. These can corrode. They can be easily replaced by shops. A shop may look at a brake servicing, see the calipers resting and go, you know what? You need to replace it. And they may choose to do that versus servicing it and making it last longer.
Absolutely. For a much higher cost, though, and that's the issue.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to avoid a higher cost, keep your brakes working well. And if you're in a North Olmsted or an Ohio resident, check out Weber Automotive. They're an independent shop located on Lorraine Road, and they will service your brake caliper with your regular brake surface, make it last longer, and really take you that extra mile. Thank you so much, Brian.
Awesome.
And you
Thanks,
guys can
Jackie.
learn more at weberautomotive.com.
Absolutely.
Thank you.